Hello and welcome to Vegas Aces interview video. We have a great guest with us today. I'm really looking forward to talking to Brad Roach. Brad, how are you today?
I'm great. How you doing?
Doing good. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for joining us. I am so excited to see your comics. You have comics about casino dealing from the dealer's perspective, and your comics are so funny and so well done. How long have you been working on them?
I started in Laughlin, Nevada, when I was in my early 20s, and that's where I figured out the casino business was actually funny. After seeing two nuns playing slot machines, and then thereafter, I said, "This is funny. I should turn this into a cartoon," because I've always been wanting to be a cartoonist, and I hadn't been in the business long enough in order to understand a lot of things. And over time, it just kind of fell into my lap, so to speak, and after becoming a dealer.
Well, let's get into that. So, can you tell me a little bit more about yourself and how you got into the dealing career?
Well, I got into the dealing career of
It,
hoping to go to school, college, etc., in order to pursue my cartooning career or whatever I wanted to do. My direction was to go actually eventually go to Hollywood, but a lot of hiccups along the way and divorce later, etc. But involved, I got into the casino business as a change attendant, and then later on went to be dealer training at one of the casinos that was offering dealer training at the time. And I also was working like three different jobs. I was working as a fueler for the airport, and I was also working as a projectionist for the theater. And eventually, I got into the casino business. And the first thing I learned was blackjack. But the first day on my job is that I was a shuffler, and we didn't have shuffler machines back in the era. So we had like a shuffle board that you go around from each table to table, and you push into the side of the table. You take the shoe that's inside the drawer out that the dealer is not using, and you would shuffle the drawer shoe and then stick it back in the drawer. And I did that for the whole day, my first day on the job. And everybody hated me because I was shuffling terrible or something like that, because none of the players were winning. So I got it in the break room. So I learned blackjack first, and then later on, back then they would give you, for every game, like 10 cents per game. So then later on, I learned, of course, Caribbean stud and Pai Gow, and then eventually Baccarat. And then I was thrown on the craps game, and then I was thrown on the roulette game. And eventually, over time, I started dealing everything. But there's some games that some of the new dealers probably haven't even heard of that I had to learn to deal, which was like Red Dog.
yeah, I don't know that one.
Exactly. It's a spread kind of game where they actually had a little miniature dog, red dog, that they would have kind of like on a roulette game. And it basically is a number spread between the higher and lower numbers, and how close you get to the number, the more you get paid, or something like that. It was terrible.
Okay.
That's the
And
game
then,
you got on. That's the one they put you on if you got in trouble. So
oh, okay, I gotcha. We
yeah,
we have a couple games
like the
like
Big
that. Yeah.
Six.
Yes, the big six. I was
Yes.
thinking that.
Mhm.
So then you started dealing, and then what games did you deal?
I dealt them all. I dealt everything from blackjack, all the different variations of blackjack, uh, Caribbean stud, letter ride, uh, a roulette, Pai Gow, Baccarat, Big Bach. And then later on, I went into, because the place I was wanting to work at wouldn't hire me as a dealer. They want me as a floor because of my experience, because it was a brand new casino. And so they hired me as a floor. So I started flooring then. And then I went from floor to dealer, back to floor again, dual rate. I've been to I think I counted 19 different casinos now.
Okay, and what states was that in?
I started in Laughlin, which is Nevada, of course, and then Louisiana, Lake
Mhm.
Charles, and then later on to Washington State. And then I was mostly tribal gaming up there. Then later on, around the mid 90s, they started popping up all the small card rooms everywhere. And so the small card rooms, you get to keep your own tips. So it was really appealing to go over there. So I was recruited to go over there, and I was hopping around ever since from there, because you could actually work there, and then maybe a shift manager will open up another one, and you would follow that one and basically follow the money. So it was a pretty extensive time in my life moving around to different casinos. It looks bad on a resume, but it was good for me.
Well, I bet that was fun too, going to different states and everything.
That's where I really got into the whole dealing with it nitty gritty, is because I started seeing a pattern of players, starting a pattern of actually dealers, especially my favorite cartoon character of my cartoon was based after a real dealer that I met, and I'm going to call him out on here, but and he's the one that I actually designed the Rudy Rabbit character around. So we'll talk about
Oh, okay.
that.
Yeah. So let's get into this. You started drawing these comics, and I really love your comics. Your comics are just fantastic. Let's take a look at some of them. So this first one has a cover page, and it says "Introducing Lucky Chance," and dealing with it is the name of your comic. And then, as we see a TV right there with the game show going on. Tune in to see who the next lucky contestant will be that will take home $1 million. So can you talk a little bit more about this this cover page?
Well, the cover page was based around one of my favorite cartoons that Tex Avery did back in the early years. Tex Avery was a cartoonist for he did a lot of the Tom and Jerry stuff, but then he had a one that called Symphony of Slang, and it was based on how the modern dictionary has changed in our dialect and our lingos and things that we say and do, but also was taken that I was actually on a reality TV show many years ago called I Hate My Job. It was on Spike. It really didn't go anywhere, but I was the casino dealer that wanted better my job, and I was hoping for the opportunity to pursue this full time and get away from the casino business. I mean, it's nothing wrong with the casino business. It's just this has been my passion all my life. And so I wanted to do something that has more geared towards my art. So I came up with this idea of having my character go on a game show, and then he has to tell the judges about his life in the casino business. And if they can't do his job after him telling everything that he has to do, then he could win $1 million. That's the whole premise behind this.
So let's take a look at this comic. The first panel says, "Welcome to another night of fun on Take My Job, Please." Woo! Where a contestant could win $1 million if the celebrity panel agrees that they can't do the job of the contestant. Actors challenge themselves in acting parts, but can they do the job in real life? Tonight, another contestant will say, "Take my job, please." And I know I felt this before as a casino dealer. So we see in the bottom three panels, the game show host is talking to the dealer, Lucky, who says, "So let's meet our first contestant, Lucky Chance. What is your job?" "I'm a dealer." "Nothing illegal, I hope." Ha ha ha. "Casino blackjack dealer. I deal dice and cards for a living." "Well, it doesn't sound too hard." "That's what you think." And I love how you put that in there. "Nothing illegal, I hope," because I swear I have gotten that so many times as a casino dealer.
Everybody says, you say you're a dealer, they're like, "Oh, drugs?" Seriously?
Yes, everybody.
They couldn't say car dealer or anything like that, but no, we have to go straight to that one. Always fun.
Always. So next it says, "Some think I was born with a deck of cards in my hand." And I love how the next panel you actually show the baby like pitching the cards. I love
I'm glad
that.
you got that.
Yeah, totally. And the doctor says, "I'm sorry to say he's going to have to learn to deal with his disability." That's
Exactly.
hilarious.
Thank you.
So funny.
Again, back to what I was talking about, Tex Avery. This is taking kind of like an homage to Tex Avery. He did the Symphony of Slang, and basically his cartoon, it says, I grew up overnight, and the baby actually grew up overnight. Or I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and then he had a silver spoon in his mouth. So in this case, I'm taking everything that my cartoon is literal, in a kind of a comical way, so that I can describe to everybody out there that never worked in a casino what we actually have to deal with, because people think we were born there or we actually live at the casino. They don't even realize we have actual
Yes.
apartments. So
Yes. No,
I'm taking that into consideration to everything.
you wouldn't believe how many times I've gone traveling and I tell people I'm from Las Vegas and they're like, "Oh, what casino do you live in?"
Exactly. I lived in Prim. I worked right behind the. I worked in Prim and Buffalo Bills and Whiskey Pete's at one point, and everybody thought I actually lived in Vegas, and no, I actually lived right behind the roller coaster in the apartments over there. So it's like everybody thinking, "So where do you live?" when they come
Yeah.
into the casino.
Yep,
Mhm.
100%. So on the very bottom panel, we see Lucky thinking I had the upper hand in life, and then you have like a little name tag that says life, and he is pitching the cards, and we have the player looking at those cards, and life dealt me a bad hand,
Yep.
which is
Which is
actually
basically
perfect.
around my life and my divorce and other things that happened. So like for example, going on the Hate My Job game show or reality show. My mom had passed away 2 weeks prior to going
Oh,
on to the show, but she was so proud that I was actually going on a reality TV show. I couldn't miss it, and I did it for her behalf. But
oh,
didn't go anywhere. But it was the premise, the idea behind it. It was so behind that is anything that we go through, we're dealing with life, inside the casino, we have politics, we have all these other things that goes inside. But I always hear people say many different things. So I had titled it Life's a Gamble, Lucky Chance. But then later on, I start hearing more people saying we're just dealing with it. And then, whatever the procedures or the changes are in life where you're in the casino. So somehow it just stuck. Dealing with it became the title.
and that's perfect too because this I mean, I can't stop gushing about your comic. I just love your comics, and it is so perfect to life too, because life does give you some bad hands sometimes. And as a casino dealer, I think we have a little bit of a different perspective on luck and good luck and bad luck and runs and that type of a thing because we see it all the time in the
Which
casino.
is also the premise behind my cartoon. Also, is that if luck exists, so does everything else in
Mm.
my cartoon. That's why later on you'll see Santa Claus, you'll see aliens, you'll see all these different characters popping up, because if luck exists, and because they can swear up and down that the player on your game is that you are the unlucky dealer. So get rid of that dealer. So if it truly exists, who else exists? So that's why I created that. And plus, I'm going to have little minions that are going to be running around the casino. That's in a different story. I'll tell you about that later. About they're the ones actually giving the players 13 and 12 all night long on
Oh, I
purpose.
love that.
Yeah, little
That's
minions.
such a great idea.
And they're all based around the pips. So the one pip is death, which is spade, and then you have diamonds, which she's giving away the money. And then you have heart that cares for the person that's down on his luck, maybe finds some money on the ground. And then you have the hardworking club that he's just there working his darndest, trying to either help people or not help people. He's just like the in between. So
Could be either good luck or bad luck.
correct. He's just working hard.
I can't wait to see that comic. Um, so this comic that we have up on screen, you show the bathroom and it says, "Do you ever wake up asking yourself, is this really the hand life dealt me? Just as the fogged mirror after a shower distorts my face, my life also seems distorted. I build up the courage to wipe away the condensation from the mirror as I think to myself, it can't be all that bad." But then I'm reminded the mirrors don't bluff, and I love that. Hilarious. So then you have him getting ready for work, and his kid comes in, and the kid says, "Dad, do you really have to work on Thanksgiving? Where do you work?" And he replies, "At a casino. It's a place people take money in hopes of winning more." And the kid is like, "Well, what if they lose?" Well, then they don't have any money. And the kid sighs and he says, "Wait a minute, you don't have any money. Did you lose it at a casino?" And he replies, "Heck no, that's called a divorce."
And that's where I take the realism also in my life, the things that happen, and a combination of whimsical, silly, and you can't have comedy without dramedy. So there you go.
Yeah. And it's true to life too. I mean,
And it's
that's
good
like,
that I can actually look back on certain things and still laugh at it. But at the
yeah,
time, they never.
not only laugh at it, but you take the stuff from your life and make it into this great comic and make everybody else laugh about it.
That's my
Do
plan.
you want do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
I have several stories, ideas that I've created about the cartoon, based on my real life experiences and things that I've seen and everything like that. But the whimsical part, it was where the character may end up getting a visitation from Santa Claus, or aliens may try to attack the casino, infiltrate it, or whatever. If Lady Luck exists, and eventually one day he actually sees Lady Luck through the whole day, and he start realizing that Lady Luck is real, and that's who's running all the little minions that are running around that I was talking about earlier. And then,
So
all,
you're you're actually going to have a character that's Lady Luck and she's in
yes,
control of the
she
minions.
looks like a bag lady walking around the casino. You don't know, because in mythology, Cassandra was a predictor, and later on, I guess somewhere along the lines, somebody got upset at what she was doing. So whether you believe her or not, it's up to you. But she could be telling you the truth about the luck that's going on in your life. So as a bag lady that's running around the casino, some people probably won't even take a second look at this person. But then when he actually sees her in true life, she looks like this beautiful, like Lady Luck kind of character. But there's also these little minions running around doing all these things that nobody else can see. But for one day, my character be able to see them. So
I cannot wait until that one comes out. I love that idea. That's such a great idea.
I wrote
Um,
several scripts already. I've got several of them already written and drawn. It's just a matter of getting it put it. It's time consuming putting it together into
yeah.
a book, comic strip, and making sure it's all packaged nice so that uh, if I have a typo, oops. Yeah, I don't want none of that. So I'm trying to be professional about this.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you have your comics coming out like once a week or once a month or something like that? Or are you gathering all of
I'm
them to put them in your book?
Right now I'm gathering them, but they are on my website. If you go to Dealing With It by bradroach.com, you'll
Mhm.
see the pages that are already completed, and then I'll put another page and another page. So eventually you'll be able to read it online. But I'm still
Awesome.
kind of working around the avenues of how. I mean, I would like to profit off of it, but I'm more wanting to do it for my own sake because it's my own personal therapy of getting my stuff out there. But like I said, it's time consuming, and it's also just like what you do. It's time consuming, and it's also me being diligent to make sure I'm putting it out there every week and so forth. And
Yeah.
that's my plan, is to have it out at least once a week, the full page, versus because some comic strip artists, they put out one strip a day or a week or whatever. I'm trying to do
That's
it
too
so
much.
that I'm trying to do it that when you read it, it's reading like a linear plot line that goes along
Mm,
with the story. Along with some of these can actually set on their own as a, like you could have a print that made it of it for a T-shirt or whatever, and that would be a joke on its own. So you don't even have to read the entire comic strip. So I'm trying to put it like Calvin Hobbes used to do with his. Like he would have some that are like, oh, that would be great on a T-shirt, but then he also has the babysitter storyline going on at the same time. So that's
cool.
my plan.
And if you guys are interested in seeing any of these, we are going to have a link in the description below. So you can just go directly to the description and click the link and go directly there. So our next comic is him fighting the cards, and it says, in I needed to get back into the ring, so I received some training from some old cards. And the cards are saying, hit me already, hit me, you pansy, I'll jack you up.
That,
And then you
that goes back with the whole Tex Avery thing again, where it's acting as it's literal as a jack. He's going to jack you up, and then the way I write it, and he's getting back in the ring. But we see that in life, the lingo that we get back in the ring of life. We're not going to throw in the towel. All these little different lingos that we use on a regular basis that seems nonchalant. I'm actually using them to describe my characters and what they're doing each day.
And I think that's what makes these comics so good, because if you are on a blackjack table, you are going to hit the cards that you have. Hit me. That's like such a normal phrase and everything. But here you are in the ring, and he's actually like hitting the. This
Yeah.
is what makes your comics so good.
I appreciate it, and I don't know. I laugh at myself sometimes, but I like the way the three is standing back there like nervous, like oh no, oh no, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it shows he is at the table, and it says, I had to have, oh, I'm sorry, he's not at the table. I had to have a full background check. So it's like the FBI thing where, you have the lights on you and
Yeah.
everything. And I felt I was going to work for the FBI, which is true with the background check that they have dealers do. It's
Absolutely.
extensive. And then after that, he is on the blackjack table, holding a skull like Shakespeare. And thereafter, I was brought in for a formal audition to hit or not to hit. That is the question. Next up, it was hard learning the daily hurdles just to be on time. You have him rushing in, showing security your badge, jumping over a wet floor. It's like a whole obstacle
It's,
course
for
and
some reason,
everything.
some reason those wet floor things are exactly where you don't want
Yes, always, always.
them.
And then you clock in, and just as you clock in, you think you're on time, and you go to the pit, and the pit manager says, "Lucky, you're late. First break." Just to find out you are on first break.
It's so funny. I have to explain certain things. My wife, she doesn't work in the casino business at all, and I had to explain a lot of things that we do in the casino that you don't normally do in like a retail shop. But sometimes I believe that we should adopt in the retail shop how we change out our dealers for the people that are on the floor. Maybe they won't get burned out so quickly. And so we're coming up with this first break thing is like she didn't understand why we had to go on first break. And it's like because the other dealer that is going home is on the game, and if they get stuck there for 30 more minutes, they might get stuck there and somebody not be able to get them out or whatever. So if they're actually going to go on break, you're going to end up first break.
Right.
So
And that's a good point. Like sometimes you have to explain this stuff.
oh,
So
here's
we're
another one, real quick. My wife's Filipino, and anyway, I had explained to her that there were certain dealers that could speak very good English where I was working at one point. And I said Filipinos, they worked in the cashier. Oh, I didn't say cashier cage. I said cage. I said they worked in the cage, and they talk perfectly good English. They should put them on the floor and make them deal. And she said, whoa, 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 whoa. The Filipinos are in a cage? I'm like, no, a cashier cage. So I was like, wow, that's pretty funny. Because if you think about it, we do that on a normal basis. It's like no big deal. But for her, it's like, you put people in a cage?
Yeah, it's like an actual like jail cage with bars and everything.
Yeah. Sure.
No, you're good. You're good. No, for people in the industry, casino dealers were on a string. So there's 4 dealers to a string, and you have 3 dealers going to the tables and 1 dealer who is the relief dealer, which lets people go on break or whatever. And one of the jobs of a relief dealer is you have to make sure all of your dealers are here and on time. And if there's any dealer who's not on time or isn't there or whatever, they get first break. So they have 20 minutes to get there, and the relief dealer will take their table. So that way we could keep this going and everything. So if you get to work and you have first break, you're like, oh, I screwed up. Okay, shoot. It's like not a good thing.
And this joker actually truly happened to me. My car broke down literally right outside
Oh,
the casino that I was starting at. My first day
oh
on the
no.
job, I had to run up the hill, run straight into the casino because my phone died. And I went to the casino just like this. I hurdled through everything, swiped in, and they said, "Oh, by the way, you got first break." I'm like, you could have just really
Oh,
after all that.
dang. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the first day you do not want that to happen
not
either.
at all.
That is not a good thing. So after that, after he finds himself on first break, we go to the last part of the panel, and he's dealing, and the eye in the sky was hard to get used to at first, but soon I was acting like they weren't even there. And then he's like saying they're picking his nose and everything. I laughed out loud when I saw that. I thought that was just so hilarious. And sometimes the eye in the sky is bored and they'll call down and they'll be like, stop picking your nose.
Yes.
Or something like completely ridiculous that has nothing to do with gaming or dealing or anything. It's like, oh, dude, you're watching me? Seriously? Oh, dang. And then the last panel, we see our table, and we have the table full of players. And it says, but it's even harder when you are surrounded on a full game. And one of the players says, I sure as hell hope that he's picking me as a winner. And I love the different characters you have. You have the jackass,
Yep.
you have the drunk dog and everything. Like,
Yeah,
this is just so
his
perfect.
name's Booger Brewski.
That is awesome. Can you tell me a little bit more about your process of how you go about giving different players their persona? For example, I see this, and the first thing that comes to mind is I want to see a player that's an actual literal flea, because we
I
do
have
call
it.
some of our players fleas. You have it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Frankie Flea. Uh,
Frankie Flea.
yeah, there was a guy that used to come to the casino. Well, I try to take people at face value and how they act and stuff like that. It depends on if I find them as a character. But then if I go to another casino, then I'll find another person that's similar to that. And then that's where the lingo comes in and helpful because I can always generalize based on one particular type of character, which is the flea. And the one guy that I met in Washington, every time he would get 21, he would go 29
Oh no.
for no reason. But he was a flea, and he made sure everybody let him know he was there. But he was only like playing maybe $3 blackjack. It was terrible.
Oh my
All right.
gosh. Yeah. Some of the players, I swear. And it's great that you have a variety of players. For
Yeah.
example, Santa Claus,
Yes.
Santa Claus is a player. That's
Well, I
perfect.
came up with this idea because you always hear this the saying that said baby need a new pair of shoes. And then I was like, what would Santa do if he came up to and picked up a dice? He would actually have to list the whole list of people that he has on his list that are on the good list versus the naughty
Yes,
list. So
exactly.
that's where I came up with
Sally
this idea.
Sally needs a new dolly, Andrew needs a new fire truck, Austin needs a new football, little Timmy needs a new train, Alex needs a new video game, Ted needs, and the dealer's like, will you freaking roll the dice already, Santa? What are you waiting for? Christmas? Hanukkah? Something like that. Perfect.
And that brings me to my favorite character, and that's him right there. His name's Rudy Rabbit.
Uh-huh.
Just like in Friends, I don't know who's the main character of Friends. Do you know?
Oh no, I
Monica.
never liked that. I
neither.
never liked that
Whatever.
show.
I'm just talking about in sitcoms. Monica would be the first main character. In Cheers, it would be Sam from of the owns the bar, and then in this case, it's Lucky Chance is the main character, but Rudy Rabbit is his co-worker friend. But he's the one that's going to be basically stealing the jokes and stuff. He's the one-liner pen a deadpan kind of character that gets away with saying anything and everything on the game. He would even sell out his own grandma if he could get the money for it. That kind of character, but but he's in a way a nice. Everybody likes him in kind of way. Every dealer, every casino has one of those kind of guys that like, oh, he's funny. He's just harmless. He's just funny. That's just the way he is. And that's where I came up with Rudy Rabbit, based after a guy up in Washington. His name was Robert. And he had long hair down to his butt, and he was Native American, and he was the funniest guy I ever met. But he had such a dry sense of humor, it was hard to tell if he was telling the truth or he was lying. So one day he came in with 2 ponytails all the way down his back, but they're not braided, just like that. And I said, he looks like a rabbit. And so I created Rudy Rabbit after him. So there you go, Robert.
Funny.
Your national.
And you have a character page for each of your characters where you put like different perspectives and everything, different angles. You have them on a card, so they each have their own card. And then you write a little bit more about that character and everything. And here's Rudy's, so we can see Rudy Rabbit. And you also have other characters as well. So I know we saw, for example, Allie, the floor supervisor, and she looks exactly like a normal floor supervisor. I mean, you got this.
Yes. I came up with the idea with the word alley because that's why a lot of people play dice down the alleyways, back in the day. And I came up with the idea Allie Dice as her name because she's kind of... I don't know. She's all put together in public, but behind closed doors, her life is a complete mess. It's like in her pit, she's like immaculate. She highlights everything. She does everything perfectly. And she's kind of like Hermione, I guess, in Harry Potter. She's always dictating everything to everyone. But in her home world, in her own life, outside of the casino, when she's at home, things aren't as put together as it seems. So that's.
What's funny is I've known several floor supervisors exactly like this. They are absolutely immaculate when it comes to their work, their professional experience, professional appearance. Everything is just perfect. And then if you go to one of their houses, like the whole house is just totally trashed and they're like going and drinking after work and then they go home sloshed and there's no food in the refrigerator and they're living off of like granola bars. And it's like, are you serious?
Well, in my cartoon, my Lucky Chance character, he actually has a child, but he's only part-time with his son. But it shows him periodically. I'm not just going to write him off or anything like that, but it's just going to show that the struggles on that. But like you said, with his own personal life, when the son's not around, how does he behave versus when his son's working in a casino? Because a lot of people think we don't even have lives outside the casino. We don't have a family. We don't have children. We don't have our responsibilities, but we do.
Exactly. And that's Lucky Chance that you're talking about.
That is correct. Lucky Chance. I don't know why I came up with the name Lucky Chance, mostly because I guess I died when I was 2 weeks old. And then they saw me kicking around just like they did in E.T. in the Ziploc bag and all that stuff. And they brought me back to life. And then 6 months later, I went to Germany, right? And then after that, came home. 15 years later, I tried getting a job. And my dad filed for a missing or a social security card and found out I was deceased. So,
oh my God.
Yeah. So somebody filed that death certificate and I became a Lucky Chance. So there you go.
That's an incredible story right there. Wow. Oh my gosh. Wow. I think you just blew my brain. I'm sorry. Like
All
I'm
right.
just now I'm just thinking about that and I'm like, holy
So that's where
cow.
I came up with the idea of lucky chance, because he's always looking for his lucky chance, his lucky break, his chance to do something with his life, and he thought this was not it. Like I said before, is that some people want to do a career in the casino, some people don't. They just want to use this as a stepping stone to get to where they want to be in life.
Yep.
That's what I've ever. Whenever somebody approached me about why you work in a casino, I'd be like, that's why, is because you can use this as an opportunity. I've had people that were lawyers work with me that actually had a law firm, gave up the law firm, and became a dealer. I've had people that are nurses that got tired of all the stress and became a dealer, just to get away and start brand new. And then some people stay in it, and some people actually try to take a venture out of it. My character is trying to take a venture out of it, but there's more to the story. You'll find out later in the volumes to come that it life is a circle. You never know where it's going to take you. So that's basically his story.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's and see, you're not just good at drawing and art and all that. Like I love the depth that you have with these stories, and it just the way you incorporate all of this. You do such a great job with this. I'm really looking forward to reading the book when it comes out.
I appreciate it.
Um,
This helps me
yeah,
too, because it gives me a feeling inside that, okay, somebody's actually wants to see this, because I've been talking about it for years. You can ask any of the people that I've worked with, and they're like, when are you going to put it out? When are you going to put it out? So, well, it takes time, and it takes energy, and it takes motivation, and I see that the need is for it, just like your podcast is a need for what you're doing. I see a need that people need to see the funny side of the casino business, funny side of life that combines both. Basically, I want to sum up the characters that I work with. They sometimes look like the people I work with. My character looks like me, but there's a reason why my character doesn't look like an animal and stuff like that. You'll find out that more later. The casino that he works for in the actual cartoon is called Cheap Charlie's Casino, based after. It looks like a vacuum, so it sucks up everybody, including their money. Uh, it's just little tips like that within the cartoon that makes it fun. Three settings that are going to be in there mostly is going to be the casino floor, the break room, and Lucky's apartment. Those are the three main settings, and then of course all the other different characters come along with it. Like the pencil actually looks like a pencil. The pit boss
I
looks
love
like a
that.
pit bull. The I have a badger that is the boxman for the craps game, because he's really quiet, but he reminds me of, in my mind, reminds me of Sam Kinison. I don't know if you know who that is. Look him up. He's a hilarious comedian. Also, the whole idea behind my character is that he's trying to better the hand that life has dealt him, and he finds that he's surrounded by other colorful characters, because he lives in his world, his own black and white. But since he went into the casino business, he sees a light differently now that he's working in the casino, and they're trying to do the same thing to better their hand also, from both sides of the table. So it takes from all aspects, not just from the dealer's aspects, but I actually branch out to all other departments. I have them actually itemized according to spades, diamonds, hearts, and clubs. So spades would definitely be table games. Diamonds would definitely be service, and then and so forth. And the clubs are definitely the working group behind things like the maintenance people that are cleaning up the casino, stuff like that. That's under the clubs and so forth. So I have it all kind of organized out and panned out for the future episodes. But like I said, I want to try to like I want to do is box it up to make it like a big, huge deck of cards after the whole thing is completed. And then the whole cards represent the graphic novel or cartoon or whatever of it. But each one of them has their own, like each one of them is about 52 strips long for each storyline. So that gives 52 cards, and then 13 stories per episode. So that's a full deck, so forth. I mean, then four of the 13. So that's a full deck. Yeah. So that's my plan.
I can't wait until it's like done and out and I can buy this and everything because I have so much fun and it is just so enjoyable reading your comics.
I
And
appreciate it.
I I really appreciate you being on this show and doing this and
I've
everything.
enjoyed
And
it.
it's
Have me anytime. I appreciate it.
well, I hope we're going to have you back. I would love to do another interview and everything and see some more of your work. And thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for doing this interview.
No, thank you. I appreciate it also. You guys have a great day.
Oh, thank you. And thank you guys for joining us for watching this interview. Come back on the next time when we have Brad Roach back talking about his comics. And thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time. Have a good one, Aces. Bye.